I think at times reading is harder to teach than writing because it's invisible. Writing has a product. There's something to look at the end of it. Whether it's picture details, word details, or sentence details, I can touch it and say, great word choice here. Oop, forgot your period. Oh, strong supporting detail. Like the evidence here. Let's work on our transitions. There's a product. Reading, they just drop their head and they start looking at that text. And I have no idea what's going on inside their head until they look up and I see their face. We've got to do whatever we can to make it concrete and visible. And so one of the first things I'll do is share this character with students. And I'll say, class, did you know readers have multiple voices? Yes. When reading, you have a reading voice. This is the voice that reads the words on the page, looks at the pictures, and reads the words on the page. That's the purpose of this voice. The problem is, if you only, when reading that printed text or digital text or visual text, if we're just reading the words on the page, the words never tell us what they all mean. And when you get to the bottom of the page, you're not going to understand what you read. Nope. That's why you have to know you have another voice. I call it your thinking voice. These two voices for a reader talk to each other. Inside our head, they talk to each other. Here's how it works. You read a little and you have a thought. You read a little, you have a thought. Read a little, have a thought. See, sometimes you read and you think, hey, that happened to me before. Or that's like the last chapter when, or this is like another book I've read. Sometimes you read and you think, how come, why did, where is, and you ask questions. Other times when you're reading, you're thinking to yourself, now there's no pictures, but I totally can see this in my mind's eye. I see this happening. And you visualize, you read a little bit, and sometimes what you're thinking is, okay, so here's what's going on. You can retell or summarize the text. Often that's what the teacher asks us to do after we read, or we determine the main idea of the passage, the big ideas, and we make some kind of big synthesis. Class, that's how it works. Read a little, think. Read a little, have thoughts. Read a little, have thoughts. So I think, again, make it concrete and visible. I think you model it. I think you put a passage under the document camera you were going to read anyway. I think you make a transparency of a passage you were going to read anyway. I think you call those primary kids up close next to the big book that you were going to read anyway today. And you put that text in front of them and you say, watch me. I want to show you my two voices. I want to make it visible. I want you to get inside my head. And so when Mrs. Smekens gets real close to the text and moves her pen and sounds like this is her reading voice. But if my pen pauses and I lean over here and I whisper, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking. And they're like, okay. So, okay. So that reminds me of the last chapter. When he got in trouble for doing that, I'm predicting he's going to get in trouble again. Da-da-da. I was right. Da-da-da-da. Now, there's no pictures on this page, but I see the steam coming out of the mom's ears. I see the stomping. I hear the stomping of her foot. I'm totally visualizing this. Da-da-da-da-da. Okay, I don't know that word, but let me do just a real quick reread. Let me back up just a little bit, see if I can't use context clues and figure that out. Da-da-da-da. Okay, I'm thinking that word means such and such. And just a couple paragraphs, a short page. That's it. I'm just going to do that. Not a whole story, just a little bit. And when I'm done, I look up, and the faces in the room, regardless of the age, are always the same. They're like this. You had that many thoughts? Yeah. I don't have that many thoughts. I know, that's why we're doing this. I've had kids convinced they don't have a thinking voice. They're positive. I don't got me one of them thinking voices. Yes, you do. No, see, here's the thing. Yours has been on mute. We got to turn up the volume. Here's the thing. Some kids didn't even know of it. You have to make sure they know of it. I tell them this voice whispers. You have to be listening for it. If you just word call NASCAR, read every word to get her done, you're never going to hear it. And that's what a lot of kids think. Say every word and you can be done. And then you're going to say, I don't get it. How many times have we asked a kid who read aloud in class? We ask them, what do you think about that? And they look at us. What do you mean? What do you think? I wasn't thinking. I was reading. As if they're different. Readers are thinkers. We got to make sure kids understand this concept.